Thank you for joining me for the Me and White Supremacy virtual pilgrimage. It's Reverend John Borthwick, and I've been inviting my congregation over the period of 24 weeks, I think we're up to now, to journey through the book, Me and White Supremacy by Layla Saad. It's been a fascinating journey, and we're nearing the end, and the chapters are much, much shorter. But today's theme builds on last week, which was about me and white leaders, and now today it's you and your friends. And so again, I want to lean heavily into Layla's work and Layla's questions for us to consider, because my assumption is for many who are engaging with this material, they may not be reading the book itself. And so this at least gives me an opportunity to encourage you certainly to read the book for yourself. That would be wonderful. But also, if not, just at least think of some of these questions. So again, building on last week where we said, having read this material, having engaged with some of the questions that this material raises, how are you going to engage if you are someone who holds a leadership position? How is that going to change the way you do things? How are you going to keep it front of mind on a regular basis? What's going to be different in your engagement as you commit yourself to being someone who seeks to engage in anti-racism work in the world you do? And so today she asked very pointedly about friends. And she's clear to say this isn't about your closest of friends who you have, probably a relationship of trust, where if you called them out or called them in, they would probably be fairly receptive to that most of the time. Most of our closest friends, we have that trust with each other that we could probably say things and they would take it for the relationship that you have and for the ways in which you engage in relationship. This is more for how are you going to have a conversation that's a courageous conversation or an intervention or say something to disrupt when it's in a circle of colleagues, co-workers, not your closest friends, but friends that your neighbors, peers, people in your schools, or people that you interact with, certainly in our context, with members of a congregation who, we connect with, and you hear things, and how are you going to do that differently moving forward? And so I just want to raise up her questions to get us thinking about this. She says, how have you responded when you've witnessed racist words and actions from these people in your life, these people that you engage with, neighbors, friends, colleagues, peers? How have you stayed silent and made excuses for them in your mind? How have you thought it was not worth the hassle because of the discomfort of rocking the boat? Or how have you seen it as your responsibility to address it with them, since you have more influence over them because of your friendship? Are there certain people you feel more comfortable speaking up to than others, and why is that? Are there certain people you continue to stay in friendship with even though they are problematic and refuse to change? How have you risked these relationships by calling in or out racist behavior, even if nobody was going to thank you for it? How do you feel about your friends who are not doing their own personal anti-racism work? What efforts have you made to invite your friends into doing anti-racism work with you? How have you allowed your friends to influence you not to engage in anti-racism work? Reflect on those questions, maybe rewatch them again and think about them and how they touch you as you dabble, as you take a deep dive, as you engage in this work that is not easy. But we're not doing it because it's easy. We're doing it because it is work that needs to be done in the world that we currently live in. So thank you for joining me for week 24 of Me and White Supremacy and this virtual pilgrimage we are on. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate you following us as we come to near the conclusion of this pilgrimage together. Thank you.